Hey guys, welcome to WhiskyWise. Me, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 16. We're going to focus on the Kininvie 17-year-old. So the Kininvie 17 is a travel retail exclusive whiskey which I picked up I think around about 4, 5, 6 months ago. It's quite a while ago, back when I was flying to the United States, but it's something you can only buy in travel retail. Now, if you're new to Kininvie in itself, they're the major malt in the actual blended whiskey, Monkey Shoulder. So it's one of the major contributors to that. And I think they were initially there to ease the pressure off Glenfiddich to what I read online. But I'm going to get with my review style, which is the age of the whiskey is 17 years old. And the ABV of this one is at 42.6% ABV. The casks they use in the Kininvie 17 is actually a mixture of American oak casks and sherry casks. Sherry oak casks, but I think the percentages everywhere I read was 80 to 20%. So there is a majority more maturation in the American oak cask. Now, the actual distillery is the Kininvie distillery. So they have their own distillery, and the parent company is William Grant & Sons. Now, the location for this one is actually based in Speyside, in Scotland, and the price I actually paid, now this is the interesting thing, this one is actually around about £75 in London Heathrow duty free, and it is only a 35cl bottle. It's very, very small. It's almost the same size as my glass. So it's not a lot of whiskey for £75, and that can be the hit and miss at some people. Now, it is a travel retail exclusive. It is batch 1 specifically, as you'll probably see over there. And they do have a limited amount of bottles, but I have seen there is like almost 30,000 bottles of this thing out there in the market. I'll quickly just show you the actual bottle over there, just so you can see the focus. So that's my bottle number, and I picked up a sample at Melrose of Soho because someone had left a bottle at the bar. So I decided, let me go. Oops, is it going to focus? I don't know if it's going to be lucky enough to focus. We'll just, there it is. That's the Kininvie over there. So I picked up a little bit of a sample because I didn't want to open this. Now, this one, batch 1, will keep going up in value, whereas they're going to start working on batch 2 and 3 like they've done with the 23-year-old. Now, I'll give you a little bit of history. So the Kininvie 17 is specifically for travel retail, in terms of you will not find it in the domestic market. And if you do search this one on eBay, or even if you go on Amazon, you'll see it's being sold for at least £200 plus, and even in whiskey auctions as well. So if you pick it up for around about £60 to £70 and you're looking just to hold it for a little period of time, you could actually possibly sell that on for £200 quite quickly, as it is only travel retail. So we're going to pour ourselves a dram. I'll show you another sweep of the bottle. So now we'll get into the review. So we've got a little sample over here, so we save ourselves from that, and we'll pour our little dram into our Glencairn glass. So I'm only going to use half of this, because the other half I've actually promised to a friend as well. And there we go. So let's get on to the accessing the actual colour of this whiskey. Now, this whiskey in itself is actually very, very light. You can actually see that straight away in the complexion of the whiskey. It's a very, very light colour. And I'd sort of say it's more towards a pale gold, or maybe even a light straw. It's very, very light. And in terms of actual colouring, I'm not exactly sure, but I think, because I did read this somewhere on the back here, it does say here in Danish, Zuckercolour, which I do believe then is caramel colour. So I do believe they put caramel colour. I don't know why they do that, but so I think, yes, it is caramel colour. So anyway, in terms of the colour itself, it is a light gold or a pale gold, or maybe even a very light straw. It's very, very light. I would have thought it was natural coloured, but when you read that on the bottle, it tells you the truth. So anyway, let's go into the nose. So straight away off the nose, the first notes I'm getting are very fresh fruits, more like apples and pears. It gives you also a slight sweeter note underneath, and that's where it sort of gets into that deeper vanilla notes. And it's also got a slight sweetness, and I can associate that more to a vanilla fudge. It's very like sweet, but at the same time gives you that vanilla characteristic, which is very dominant in there. Straight underneath that, I'm getting a very soft citrus note and a little spice there. It's ever so sweet spice, and it's not overwhelming. It's very light and delicate. And I'm going to have another nose just to assess that last bit over there, because there is a sort of floral note coming off. Now, actually, what's interesting with this one is when I swirl it from one nostril to the other, I'm picking up different notes. So on my left-hand side, I'm actually picking up a bit more spice, whereas if I take it to the right-hand side, I'm picking up much more of the floral notes. So I'm thinking more, because of that citrus is there, more for a citrus honey blossom. It's just picking up that little bit of nice floral notes, and that citrus spray there is just there. But still, that sweetness is still there, so it's really beautiful the way they've actually constructed this whiskey on the nose. So let's get into the palate next. So straight away on from the first sip, I'm picking up a very light character. And now it does actually first start off, when you keep it on there on the palate for a while, it starts off with the sides. And it's very, it gets a little bit of spice, that sweet spice, more towards cinnamon. Maybe a little bit of nutmeg over there. And a little bit of peppers. And then it works into the middle of the palate. And that's where you get a very, very nice juicy vanilla. I'm going to have a second sip actually, I want to get that again. So straight off that again. Ooh, you get that pepper notes just on the sides, and a little bit of sweet spice. As it works into the middle, again, that creamy vanilla, I'd probably say a vanilla custard. It's very, very enjoyable on the palate, and then you also get like a butterscotch coating, which I really like over there. It's like having a dessert. It's really, really nice. And then just at the end, a little bit of slight citrusness is coming off just off the tip of the palate. So that's a really, really nice palate on this whiskey. The next up, I'm going to move into the finish. I've got very little left, and we'll move into the finish. So just on the finish over there, when you leave that there just for a little, like a minute or so, you actually get a mixture. This reminds me of a mandarin orange. It gives you that little citrus burst of sweetness, and then also a bit of bitterness, which is like almost having like the zest and also having the inside of the fruit. So you get really both characteristics of a citrus mandarin fruit. And then it sort of gives you that little spice that just fades away right towards the back of the palate. And then right as you're finishing that, the floral note just, it's all around the mouth there. And it's really, really nice. It's a nice sweet floral note. Wow. That's a really nice whiskey. So, in overall, I've got to give you my overall comments on this whiskey. This whiskey itself is actually very approachable, very easy drinking. In terms of the price point of view, I think it is fairly overpriced, being around about £75 for 35 CL, and you're talking about, I think for a litre, that works out to £225, or around about £200 for a 17-year-old at a litre, which I think is a bit too steep. I know it's a travel retail exclusive, but it doesn't justify why they should be overcharging you so much. This whiskey in itself, I've got water over there for the next review, but I don't feel this whiskey actually needs even any benefit in water because it's already fairly light, so I think that would only just cancel out that slight spice aspect, which I think it's there to be enjoyed. So, in overall, I'm going to give my review on the whiskey and my rating. I got my rating cards in front of me. And this is going to be down just literally on the price point of view for this whiskey. Let's see if we can get that up there. So I'm going to give it an 85 out of 100 because I feel it's a really nice whiskey. It doesn't offer so much complexity, but I feel the price point just really pulls it down, and at the same time it is also travel exclusive. And I have seen the one in the domestic market, which is a 23-year-old batch 3, and that one is also priced at 125. It's much more steeper, much more dearer, and I feel that it's just, you know, too expensive for its value. So anyway, I'm going to give it an 85 out of 100. Let me know if you've tried this whiskey. Leave it down below in the comment section. I will write my blog later on tonight, and you will see that featured also on my WordPress. And also be sure to check me out on Twitter at JasonWhiskyWise. I'll leave my subscribe button over here and also an upcoming video over there. And I'm really looking forward to the next review because I've got quite a few more exclusive whiskies to go. But this has been Jason from WhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all for the next video.